Alright, so I just got done spending a large amount of time on trying to get this all just about perfect, and I think I have it as much as I can, but this is my own uh, homemade, quote unquote, homemade speed trigger that is for my polarstar. There's nothing wrong with the default trigger, it's just got a really long pull to it. Like, as you can see, it has it so where the trigger actually has to rest up all the way against the front of this gearbox, or the polarstar gearbox, and that's a lot of extra pull time you need just to push that button. Come on, focus, I know you can. And this one, it still has a little bit of time before it hits there, but it's nowhere near as much. And all these little white slips are just chunks. This is literally all that I had to use, or just these chunks of a gas card that's dead. But I thought I'd show you how it is. So at first, down here, there's just two of those chunks at the bottom. And one of the things that makes buying one of an aftermarket speed trigger really hard to fit into a polarstar is that this, let me see if I can't get a tool so you don't have to keep staring at my finger. Oh, there it is. Is that this, this curve right in here, for speed triggers, instead of them being like this angled down thing, they're kind of down here and down flat. And so by the time your trigger would be up here at this position, it would be bumping into the top of here, so you need to angle this down into an angle kind of thing, and then it messes with your Allen key, or your set screw for right here. That would be used to push this up. So I just decided, why not take the default trigger, put something underneath it, and then it came into the safety here, where once it came pulled up all the way, would it still have enough clearance to slide into here. And I've sanded it down a little now from right there. It doesn't look like it's gonna do much, but as I was sanding it, it's kind of rounded itself out. And when it's pushed up into place over here, if I can get my fat finger out of the way. Anyways, when it's pushed up into place here, there is almost, it doesn't move. So my safety still works on it very well. And up here, I did at first have two of these chips, or these two cutout little pieces of credit card, I guess you can call it, glued to the top of this trigger. But, and although yes, they were just touching the button right here, and it looked like it, but when I hooked the battery to it and screwed down the plate that screws in here and here, it would push this forward just it would push it just a little bit, and that would be enough to set it off. And so I had to take it out of there, and just put it back on as one. And this is the closest I can get it. I can probably try to get one more under there, but then I think I might be touching into the top of this. So I think this is as good as you can get it without really modifying the default trigger and everything else. But I guess while we're in here, I'll show you some of the other upgrades I've done to this gun. The airline right here is a Amped Airsoft IGL, which is a protected IGL instead of your standard 6mm macro line. That would be this guy right here. This is actually the old one. I'm actually surprised I still have it. But this one, it sat in through here and ran down that way. And now I don't have to, there's almost no more macro line except for these two hoses here and here. But those aren't exposed, and they're inside the gun, so I don't see them at being too much of a risk. But that's all in there, and brand new fitting for that. I've got a red nozzle in here, so I can get a little bit more power. Or no, so I can use less air. Although yes, the red nozzle does give you more power. I use my regulator at 80 with a red, you can kind of see it in there, but it's a red low flow poppet. So 80 psi with 0.2 bb's with a red nozzle through a 275 millimeter barrel, a 6.03 barrel, puts me at almost 325, 330, which for CQB games, which is where I've been playing recently, is really good. But yeah, that's the internal part of this, and I'll put it back together and rehook up my battery and show you what the trigger pull's like. Alright, so now that I've got the entire thing put back together, this is my Polarstar with a brand new front rail system, put back together, 550 paracord sling mount, and MOE stock. And this is what it sounds like or this is how far the trigger pull is once it's on. So right now it's on. It is on safe right now. And if I try to pull this trigger, that's as far as it moves, and I'm not getting anywhere but there. And then if we switch it over here to semi, come over, try to get it so you can hear that, but there's almost nothing, and then it's auto still works too. But yep, that's my homemade speed trigger for my Polarstar. I hope you liked it, and if you'd like a video on how to make one, even though you pretty much saw how I did it, I can make a video on that too. Alright, thanks for watching.